Marshal Bliss by Skywriter. Alright, maggot! Bellowed Staff Sergeant Thunderous, one of the Equestrian Royal Guard. Today's the day we teach you the most deadly weapon of all the palace arsenal. Do you know what this is, soldier? With all due respect, sir, said Captain Shining Armor, currently the Equestrian Royal Guard, and in fact the stallion in charge of the entire operation. You're not actually my drill instructor anymore. Plus, I outrank you. Shining Armor scratched his mane with a hoof and took a look around at the rather unassuming and grimy Canterlot dockyard bar he found himself in. I outrank you like 80 times. Thunderous threw back another mug of cider, his 11th of the evening, and wiped the foam off his whiskers with a powerfully muscled forearm. Do you think I don't know that, you lily-livered pansy? I know you're in charge of that sort of flank outfit you call a modern guard. Worthless! Again, with all due respect, sir, said Shining Armor with considerable patience. They are fine colts, sir. I would trust any of them with my life. Any of them. Thunderous laughed, sharp and barking. Ha! And you think they'd actually be able to save your life if it came down to that? I do, said Shining Armor, nodding. Pah! Said Thunderous. They may prance a good prance, but when the chirps are down, they're gonna need firepower. More firepower than you've given them. They are all well trained with a spear, said Shining Armor, and with all the major forms of desert up to and including blank manage, I don't think I need to tell you how difficult it is to master. Thunderous shook his shaggy maned head and belched heroically at his 12th cider. Shiny had not even seen him order it. Useless, he said. Okay, said Shiny Armor, who remained remarkably game despite the rather unusual and off-putting circumstances. What exactly should I be teaching them to use? Thunderous ran a lazy eye over the crowd, vanishing into it, and returned, a blowsy-looking purple-hued Pegasus mare in tow. The wife, he said, apparently in introduction. Good evening, Miss Thunderous, said Shiny Armor, with a polite little bow. Peachy. Please, call me Peachy, she said. She shrugged, smiling. Colorblind damn. Okay, said Shiny. Peachy Thunderous. Charmed to meet you. Your husband was just about to tell me exactly what style of deadly force I should be training my recruits to use. I did tell you, shouted Thunderous, causing some of the other bar patrons to glance at him and the edging way. The wife! Shining Armor blinked. When you said the wife, that was actually the answer to my question? Of course, you dunderhead! You want me to teach the cults under my command to attack with the enemy using their spouses? No better weapon in all of Equestria, crowed Thunderous, pulling Peachy close, as the mare adopted a winsome little "oh you" expression. This is my wife, the crazed ex-sergeant shouted. There are many like her, but this one's mine. Okay, Thundy, said Peachy, rolling her eyes. Such flatterer. My wife is my best friend, continued Thunderous, his eyes going like crazy. She's my life, and I must master her as I master my life. I eat with her, I sleep with her. Well, I would hope so, said Shining Armor diplomatically. I mean, I don't think you have to master your wife as such, but the eating and sleeping thing... Hush, maggot, suggested Thunderous. Don't you dare interrupt me in the middle of a wifleman's creed. Sorry. You'd better be, screeched Thunderous. With disciplined use, the wife is the single most powerful weapon at your disposal. A trained attacker comes at you armed with his wife, and you'd better run and turn your tail. What if it's just his filly friend? Thunderous' voice got low and dangerous. Then you'd better marry that Meredith, son, he nodded decisively, thus disarming him. It works for us, said Peachy, snuggling her husband close. 25 years since he first stole me away from that low-life mugger I was with, and I haven't looked back. Okay, said Shiny Armor. How are these, hypothetical spouse-based attackers going to be coming at me? How exactly are they weaponizing their brides? Simple, said Thunderous. They're going to lift them up and toss them at you. Lift them? Lift them! Screamed Thunderous, directly into Shining Armor's face. Mark my words, Colt. The day is going to come that you'll be needing your wife in your hooves. Lift her bodily over your head and chuck her at the enemy. And when that day comes, if you haven't trained, and trained hard, you're going to be in an entire world of hurt. The final darkness will be falling, society will be collapsing to shards all around you, and you'll be lying there in the throes of a painful lumbago, absolutely unable to finish the job. The job of throwing my wife at the enemy? Yes! Shining Armor backed away a step or two. I'm, not even married, sir, he said. No excuses, he screamed Thunderous. Now listen to me, Armor. When that fateful day arrives, you will remember these words. You will weep, Armor, weep that you did not heed them. Someday, the fate of all the Equestria will hang on your ability to treat your wife like a massive projectile. Sir, said Shining Armor, I think you maybe had enough cider for the evening. Don't be like that, said Peachy. I thought he was crazy too. That is, until he used me to decisively end the battle of Rushing Fort. Chucked me right at the insurgent general, knocking him on his helmet, and clang! She clapped her foreheads together. Rebellion crushed. Kind of fun, actually. She shot Thunderous a sly little wink. There was a pause. There was no reason that this should be a moment on which the world turned, thought Shining Armor. A chance to meet with an old drill instructor, now obviously quite senile and totally bucking insane. A plan that made no sense whatsoever. A highly dubious version of history that did not gel at all with all the books of military tactics that Shining Armor had rather voraciously devoured at the academy. But nonetheless, the air seemed to thicken around him, and as though destiny was pressing him down on the three of them with an iron hoof. Shining Armor could not explain it, but the sense of inescapable gravity was clear. What he had said here tonight, right now, had the power to shape the future of Equestria. All right, said Shining Armor, feeling the destiny lock into place. Show me. You, said Thunderous, gathering his faithful wife up in his hooves and adopting a lifting stance, will not regret this. Many years later, as the invading shadows clustered and gathered close around the coronation balcony of the Crystal Palace City, Prince Shining Armor's eyes tracked a falling star of bright teal across the poisoned ochre sky. A tiny streak that represented Equestria's final hope for salvation. If somebody could only fly up to it, catch it in her hooves, and snatch it away from the ravenous jaws of the spirit of the ancient and despised Unicorn King, then the Crystal Empire, and by proxy all the world, would be preserved. But Cadance was too weak from exertion to execute a proper Pegasus takeoff, and even his own horn had not been neutralized by dark crystal magic. The falling heart was well out of its telekinetic range. There was, indeed, only one plan left. He glanced at his beautiful young bride, and she glanced right back at him. They nodded to one another.
I hope you know what you're doing,
said Cadance, clambering up to his Shining Armor's back. Everything will be absolutely fine, my dearest, said Shining Armor, flexing his powerful deltoids and quadrupeds. And you know why?
Why?
Shining Armor's face was a mask of beatific confidence. He said, trained at the hoofs of a master. The end.